Hi, thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to take a look at the Beavercraft carving hatchet. Now, I don't have a carving hatchet. In fact, the hatchets that I have are all for, general purpose and some specialized. Like I've got this splitting hatchet here that I really like for splitting. It does a fantastic job. I have, various different Scout chopping hatchets, right? And I even have some custom hatchets like this one by Lockhart Ironworks. So, hatchets have a very special place in my heart. Beavercraft contacted me, asked me if I'd be willing to partner with them, collaborate with them, and try out their axe. Now, I told them that I'd give them my completely honest review, and they said that's perfectly fine, but in return for the axe, I'm supposed to make 3 videos. So you will find 3 videos on my journey of experiencing this hatchet, and I think that's pretty fair. And certainly by the 3rd video, after messing around with it a little bit and being used to it, I can give you my full and completely honest review to see if this hatchet is a good or useful tool for you. Now, I don't have a carving hatchet, like I said. I love carving though. I've been carving for years, and usually it's with traditional carving tools, not so much a hatchet. So this is going to be very new for me, and I'm excited about talking about it with you and showing you how it does, and maybe you will take up carving a little bit as well. So it came in this nice little hatchet shaped box, and I thought I'd weigh it because I was really surprised when I picked it up, because it's so small, at how heavy it is. And the box and everything weighs 2 pounds and just under 3 ounces. All right, now this Scout Collins hatchet weighs 1 pound 13 ounces. And we got my splitting hatchet here, and that is 1 pound 9 ounces and some change. Okay, so there we have that. Let's go ahead and open it. The funny thing about these type of opening box videos, I always get nervous because you only get one shot at really, truly getting the full experience, opening up an item, and you get that grand reveal. So you open it up, right on top is this little leather holster, and it's riveted. Pretty thin leather. It's not like super thick, but for what it is, I think it should do fine. It's definitely been oiled. You can smell the oil, so I appreciate that. You got your paper, a little bit of oil on there. Not sure if it's from the holster or from the hatchet. And we open it up, and there you go. You got yourself your hatchet. Now, first impression is it's rough. It's not very smooth. So I'll have to take some sandpaper and smooth it down a little bit. It's got a brass keeper in here for the wedge. Interesting. Okay, you got the little eyelet there, so you can put a loop, which I'll certainly do. That way, if I drop it, it doesn't come out of my hand. I love that you can actually see the forge marks on it right here. And it has their little stamp Beavercraft on it. Now the mask, it's really easy to put on and take off. Seems like it fits pretty well. I don't really care for that. I don't like how it's just kind of came right undone. Let's try it again. Yeah, I don't really care for that, to be honest. But the leather, leather is thicker than this, so that's good to see. I was kind of worried about that. But the mask is good thickness of leather. It's stitched. All right. Now let's see. Woo! That is sharp. Now I'm going to bring the camera in so you can see this, okay? Because there's always a test when you're testing your sharpness of your tools. And if you've never known this before, well, this might surprise you. All right, let's see the fingernail test. Ooh, boy. I can feel it, man. I mean, it just wants to catch and cut. All right. There you go. You see the curls right there. Daggone. Look at that. Look at a tiny bitty curl right there. That's sharp. Wow, now that was impressive, man. That was impressive. Like I didn't expect that from the hatchet. Just to like literally like peel off the nail. I was expecting, you know, to get some fuzz, just like I normally get with my other hatchets and everything. And you don't want your hatchets to be super sharp, because if they're super sharp, you know, like razor sharp, which you never want that anyways, then it will certainly cleave into the wood really well, but you're also going to dull the tool a lot easier. You don't have to sharpen it more often. So you need to have a convex grind on your hatchets, at least for your woods hatchets, right? You want that convex grind, and you want it to be sharp enough, like I said, to scrape off your nail. If you can't scrape off some fluff off your nail, then it's not sharp enough. And of course you go down, you use the thumb pad test to go through and just check to see that there's a difference in sharpness after you sharpen it. And you do it before and you do it after. And if there's a difference, then you're good to go. So this is it's got a polished edge on it, which is really nice. Let's take a look at the shape of the head. And that's going to tell us a lot. And I'll also again show you the shape of the different hatchets that I have, because every tool has a specific purpose, and this is for carving. All right, it's for carving. So you see that right there. Now it goes down really fast, but then it's rather flat down here, and with my finger you should be able to see, you know, how steep of a grind that is. Okay, now if we compare that to my 1930s Collins, I mean, it's night and day, right? It is night and day. Let's do side by side so you can see. Okay, see how thick the Beavercraft is to the Collins? This is for chopping, and this is for carving, all right? If we take a look at my splitting hatchet, you see a little bit more similarity to it, but this is more gradual. It's not like all at once, boom, okay? Now, I assume this is so narrow and then it splits rather fast. That way you get nice and deep, you get pretty flat to your workpiece, and then you have a break, okay? Because you want to be able to like get down and deep and then break, get down and deep and then break, all right? Okay, so let's review. Now, I think this handle is an ash handle. If we take a look at the wood grain is nice and straight. All right. There's nothing wrong with ash handles. Here in the United States, we got plenty of hickory. We have ash here in the United States, and honestly, ash is a fantastic tool handle. It's just not quite as shock absorbent or as good for the type of tool as hickory. But all in all, the shape of the handle is really nice. I like how you can choke up against this. It's narrow enough that I feel like I can grab that really nice. It's right behind the pole. The pole doesn't stick out too far, just far enough to kind of rest on your thumb. All right, that way you can, you know, carve and push. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so when I was doing this first video, I was like, man, I gotta have a block. That way I can show you guys. Now I could go out in the woods. I got some friends who's got some woods, and I might have been able to find a solid stump. Now you want solid anvil. Now, when I say anvil, I'm not talking about a metal anvil, I'm talking about a wood anvil. That way, as your hatchet comes down, it has a place to stop, right? And you want wood, not metal. That way it sinks down at just enough, like it's soft. It's not going to damage your edge, right? So I have this anvil here, and this is actually an old support beam from my 1920s house. And I went ahead and I cut with my circular saw all the way around it, which is effectively a stop cut, right? So I was like, you know, okay, I'm going to make this an anvil, and then I'll show you guys how to use it. But as I was actually using my splitting hatchet for the job, I got to thinking, like, you know what? It'd be really cool to show you guys the carving hatchet being used to remove wood in a carving fashion. Now this is pine, okay? It's not green wood. It's, like I said, it's 100 years old, and it's really, really dry. It's not rotted in this area, so I can show you a camera so you can see that it is not rotted. Okay, so I'm going to get to the other side, and we're going to use this hatchet to try to break off down to the stop cut, and we're effectively going to make our own anvil using the hatchet. All right, let me rearrange a little bit so I can show you. So this is the part that I was telling you about. It is, you know, this is the part I was telling you about that I cleaved off with my splitting hatchet. You can see some of the resin right there, and it's good wood, and it's nicely stopped here. So we're going to go for this to this angle and see how well it does. Okay, now that might have been beginner's luck. Let's so we're going to find this corner right here. All right, cool. Now I'm going to shift it over here. This is my splitting hatchet. See if it does the same. No. All right, what about this? Cuts in deep. Now you can see there's a knot right there that I'm coming across. Splits right off. Made a couple chips right there. So I'm going to go all the way up here, and that's going to allow it, when I come down, for those pieces to cleave off. Let's try. All right, man. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to smooth this out, just to play around with it, to see how well it's doing. See how well it cuts into the wood. Now I will say, generally, when you're doing carvings, use green wood. So this is not the official test for this hatchet. This is just a, well, I mean, it's certainly a test, but this isn't like a normal way of using a carving hatchet or even a carving knife. I'm using down here to really make the chips, and then I'm using this to clear them out. I'm using the handle down here to make my main swings, and then I want to clean it up or be a little bit more precise. I could choke up here, and if you want to be really, really precise, just make sure your thumb is on top, because if it's like this, there's a good chance that you're going to end up with a piece of wood in it. All right, I think we're going to stop making chips right there. All right, that was our first use and our first impression of the Beavercraft AX1 carving hatchet. Now, what do I think of it? I think this is going to open up a whole lot of doors of possibility for me. It clearly can split, right? This is dry wood. Imagine what it can do on green wood, right? It breaks really well. I think it's my technique that I got to work on in regards to the handle. I'm not used to using hatchets with such a short handle. This is only about like 12 inches. It's not very long at all. It'd be really nice for in the woods when you think about it. Find the mask here. So I do like how it has the little holster. And I know that they're trying to appeal to the bushcrafter. I don't consider myself a bushcrafter. But, you know, for what you generally use a hatchet for, especially out in the woods, I think this is pretty nice. And since it is a carving axe, if you are that guy or that girl going out in the woods and you're wanting to carve a bowl or something, then this could be pretty handy. The nice thing about the short handle is it's not going to get in your way, right? So that's pretty awesome. You never know when you're going to need a hatchet. Most of the time I get away with just my knife, right? If I know a lot of people really like saws, and saws make that very precise, clean cut. I'm just a hatchet guy. I just am. I think maintaining a hatchet out in the woods is a lot easier than maintaining it in the saw. I don't think anybody would disagree with me on that point. In regards to safety, some people say that the hatchet or axe is not as safe as a saw. I mean, there's some merit to that, but if you practice safety, especially in your backyard, or in my case, you know, where I'm at, then, you know, you shouldn't have a problem when you go out in the woods and you really need it. But you do have to keep everything in mind. I am really impressed. I'm really impressed with it. I love how sharp it came. I guess I should do my thumb test to see. You know, as much chopping as we did, I would argue that this is just as sharp as when we first started it. Let's see the nail. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's still making curls on my nail. So that's a great sign, y'all. That is a fantastic sign. So, like I said, all right, so pros and cons. Pros, this thing is a beast. I'm amazed at how well it kept its sharpness after everything that we just did. I really like how thick the leather is of the mask. I love how it came with this little holster. That's pretty cool. So I don't have to worry about putting on my belt and, you know, constantly taking it off. Like I could put this on my belt, take off my hatchet, and it'd still be completely protected with the mask, and put it away, right? And I don't have to remove my belt to remove that. So that's a pretty cool feature. I like how they used a little brass piece in there to make sure that the wedge stays in. Fit and finish. Okay, so let's talk about the cons. I think the only cons I have with it right off the bat is how rough the finish on the wood handle. Being a wood guy myself, and this being a carving axe, I was expecting a little bit more with it being more smooth. It's oiled though, so that's nice. Like, you can smell the oil, and you could see the oil out of the box. So they went above and beyond in that regard, I think. It's not coated with that, oh, my brain is like polyurethane or whatever. It's not coated with that plastic coating that you have to remove. So I love that. It's actually a oiled handle. So just a little bit of sandpaper and some some triple-aught steel wool will take care of that. There is a little ding in here. I don't think that's a big deal. Me personally, some people want it to be brand spanking, you know, like look crisp. And I get that to an extent, but it is a tool. And if you get something too pretty, you're probably not going to want to treat it like the tool that it is. And you know darn well you're going to put your own dings and dents into it. So as long as that dent wasn't too egregious, like a gouge or something, or splintered, I don't have a problem with a dent. But I'm impressed with this so far. I think that's my overall first impression of it. Shows you how hard this anvil is going to be once it's all done. But this is going to be fun. So if you like this video, please click like. Don't forget to check out my description box below, where there's lots of things, including my link to the Beavercraft AX1. So you can see if you like it yourself. And if you do purchase it, it goes back to the channel a little bit and it helps us out. But you know, shop around, do what you got to do. That way you get the best deals and the best tool that suits you and your needs. Almost came out. Let's put this back on the table. If you'd like, now, while I got your attention though, I'd really like to know if you'd be interested in the Preston Mess Kit being reproduced. I need 500 people who are really willing to, you know, put their name on the line, so to speak, not their money yet, but their name on the line, if they're actually interested in a reproduction Preston mess kit. I think it's cool. I think it is the best mess kit with the best and coolest features that are out there. You can check out the link below. It's a Google Doc. Put your name, put your email in there. Once we get 500 people, like, I'll actually proceed. I got the quote and everything ready to roll. I know James Bender is going to be making a video about his because he wants to see one reproduced. Dave Canterbury actually has mine right now at Squirrel Camp. I let him borrow it. That's why you don't see it hanging up here. I know he's taking good care of it. He's a good friend. But I know he's going to do a video too to let you know what he thinks of it. And you know, he's kind of a skeptic. So I want his complete, honest opinion on it. That way, you guys have a good, honest opinion without my bias and without James Bender's bias, and we'll see if he agrees or if he disagrees after using it. Now, I'd also like to invite you to the Camp Crafters Guild. It's my paid community, and it is awesome. It's got lots of people on there if you really want to do a deep dive in camp crafting with an awesome core group of people who will guide you and help you on your journey and honestly just nerd out with you. Then check out www.honorableoutfitters.com/join the guild. Now, if you'd like to see the playlist of all the different camp crafting tools, including knives and hatchets, then check it out here. If you'd like to take a look at the Preston Mess Kit, then take a look here. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Give a kiss and hug to your loved ones, and we'll see you next time. Take care.